Fingers crossed indeed, but the fans' fingers were not crossed here in Kano State. In fact, it was crossed from the blast of the whistle to start up the game, but after the game, everybody lost their fingers and used that for a punching bag. What a chaotic scene it was in Kano State, the Nigerian Premier Football League, as Ahmed Musa, Shooting Stars, the NPFL league body, they have all come out to condemn the violence that marred Week 8, Matchday 8, between Kano Pillars and 3SC at the Sani Abacha Stadium. It all started after Shooting Stars grabbed a late equaliser, and then chaos broke out. Angry fans invaded the pitch, players and match officials were attacked, and security had to fire tear gas to restore order on the pitch, but order was not restored. Videos online showed just how distressing those moments were for Shooting Stars team and the officials on the pitch of play. Since then, Pillars general manager Ahmed Musa, he has apologized to both the league and Shooting Stars, promising full cooperation with investigation. The Nigerian Premier Football League has also launched an official probe vowing stricter enforcement of matchday security standards. But beyond the condemnations, this raises some serious questions about officiating in the NPFL, also raising questions about fan behaviour and accountability in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Further question arises as to whose responsibility it is to deal with poor officiating. Has the responsibility fallen on the fans to deal with any official who is caught officiating poorly in any match, or has the league body lost their hold with accountability in the Nigeria Premier Football League? This conversation we'll get into right now. We have Victor Opone, a sport journalist, joining us all the way from Oyo State. Thank you so much, Victor. You're welcome to the conversation.
And of course, it's not a conversation I'd like to have, but I think it is one which is necessary for us to have, looking at what has happened. And the recurrence that has come through from this particular camp, it is quite disheartening that in 2025, we are still having these same issues.
We said so in the studio.
So, you know, it's really sad that we are talking about Kano Pillars again in this same light, in this same sentence. You know, when we have issues like this, I recall that yesterday I was going through my timeline and I saw that since 2019, actually, they have been on the receiving end of, you know, quite a number of sanctions.
Yes.
They have spent almost 37 million naira. And it looks like the deduction is not working, the monetary sanctions are not working. What exactly will not work that we call those fans from doing such again? Because at this point in time, you ask the question, what exactly is running through their heads? You cannot take justice into your own hands. If you feel the officiating is not right, then it behoves on you to find an official channel through which you would actually lay these complaints, not just come outside and run on the pitch. Because for what it's worth, I think a lot of people need to remember that that match did not exactly finish. It was at that equaliser, among several things, that we saw the fans going onto that pitch. So what happened to the barricades? What happened to the lives of the players in there, the matchday officials in there? They did not even care about what was going to happen. They just ran into the scene and it was chaotic from there on.
Victor.
Nobody was thinking about the safety of any other person.
Victor, let's lay the cards on the table, because it's not all about reacting to what happened after that equaliser from 3SC against Kano Pillars. Let's see this officiating. Now, we got a clip from Kutsi TS360 to see all the highlights of where the fans, you know, got a bit angry with decisions being made on the pitch of play. Now, we saw a video, one that should have been a penalty, one that should have been a red card, another that should have been a penalty, as they say, because we saw a little bit of handball there. But the referee did not call for these make these calls on the pitch of play. Like, he overlooked every single thing. Now, the fans saw these. Of course, they watch these games. They are there live at the pitch of play. Watching that game back, what you can see on your screen right now, Kutsi TS360, a lot of fans, they felt like Kano Pillars were hard done by the referee. 2 denied penalties according to them, a missed red card, and even a disallowed goal. But even with this frustration from the fans, I know that they shouldn't have done what they did, take matters to their hands, but does it ever justify the kind of violent reaction we did see yesterday on the pitch of play?
Well, first off, there was no disallowed goal. Why? Because while I was watching that particular game, the offside flag came up after the pass was made and the player was latching onto that run, and the whistle had gone. So if the whistle has gone before he has actually latched onto the ball to kick it, then there is no way it's a goal because the whistle has already gone for an infringement, be it a free kick, be it an offside call, whatever it is. If the whistle has gone, it's not a goal anymore. It means that the whistle has already gone before he latched onto the ball. Now, I'm not going to sit on semantics and start dribbling about. If officiating, you think it's not fair to you, I like I said earlier on, there are official channels through which you can't actually lay these things. Your complaints will be tabled and they will address it. They would actually look through the referee's actions. Now, what they have done with their reaction is to set the club and leak back 1,000 years. And it is really sad because nobody cared about the safety of what was happening in India. A reminder also that in that stadium, in the camp of shooting stars, there are players who are born and bred in Kano State. Some of them coming through from there. They had families in that stadium ready to watch the game, wanted to see their home players perform on the pitch, their own son performing on the pitch, and then you go out there and inflict injuries on them. They would be scared, but there will be bad blood brewing all over. So these are the questions that need answers right there. Why Kano Pillars almost every time? Because for what it's worth now, it's not the first time that we have seen clubs feel, aggrieved about officiating. Some have felt really bad about it over time. Some have channeled their complaints through the provided channels by the league body, by the NFF, and they have gotten some form of justice. Now, you look at the whole situation and you ask the question, are they the first ones who will suffer this fate?
Okay.
I mean, for this incident that they actually put up, controversial, yes. But then, if you actually pull up the entire clip of the whole game,
okay, Victor?
some people, 3SC also had, a right call that didn't go their way. So, when all these things come around and, these things happen like that, we do not take law into our hands. I don't think we should be bringing that conversation about, the officiating leading to the fans reacting this way. Because on no grounds, no matter what, should such be meted out to any human being.
Okay, Victor.
True. The referee has done.
True. Victor, you've mentioned the officiating already, and yes, we see poor officiating in major leagues around the world. Not just from the NPFL, and I'm talking about from the Premier League to La Liga. Yeah. Yet you don't see a similar outburst
reaction
from their fans. So why does it seem harder to control emotions in the Nigeria Premier Football League?
Because a lot of times people forget that. We should actually be controlling these things. We allow people bring in whatever is playing in the Nigerian system to fall for them. And, they tend to think that they are untouchable. They can actually do some things. And also because some certain people allow them. They are allowed to actually do some things and get away with it. You look at some of the statements coming out from that camp. You look at what is happening on X and what some people are saying. And you wonder why they would actually say such stuff. Now, you would be surprised that in that stadium, there were people with dangerous weapons right inside the stadium. Why is that allowed? These are huge questions because if lives had been lost in the whole melee, what would we be saying?
Okay.
It is going to be a really bloody battle. So why were weapons allowed around India? Why were people throwing stuff around and, doing all sorts of damages right there? It is uncalled for, totally uncalled for. So what happened with the security and how did they get in with all those things?
All right, you've been able to make calculations about Kano Pillars and the sanctions that they have gotten since 2019. That's the financial sanctions that they have gotten, close to 37 million, I would say, 36.75 million naira. So this is from 2019. Now, Kano Pillars have been fined and they have been making this payment or even, they appeal the payment. It is not a new thing with Kano Pillars. And ever since 2019 that this has been happening, we've not seen them call out any fan and say, you are the first person who ran into the pitch. You led others to run into the pitch. We're holding you accountable. You're not going to come to the stadium or come watch any game for 6 years or 6 months. We've not seen them take that action. What does this say about accountability from the league phase and also How does club Kano Pillars manage their supporters?
Well, for what it's worth, I think we need to understand that we have had gradual steps and they have borne some fruits. But then when some certain locations prove to be really hard nuts to crack, I think we need stricter measures that would actually work something for those particular venues. Now, you look at the fact that a sum as FT as 2.5 million naira, 2.25 million naira, and then going on to 9 million naira cannot deter you from doing such. You pay as much as 12 million naira and you do not feel concerned. In a year, you look at the year 2022, from what you have right there on that screen, the year 2022, they paid way more than 12 million naira in
2024, they are paying 14 million naira. If you add up October and January. 14 million
naira. And, you know, they are not bothered. They are not bothered that their club is suffering from this monies that they are having to disburse as a form of sanction. So what do we do? And I think sometimes people would remember the old Ranchers Bees. Despite how beloved they were, because of the fan trouble and everything, look at where they are right now. The same Ranchers Bees that produce the likes of the legends, the Dominic Iofas, the, greats that, we saw over the years in Nigerian football, everything gone to waste. So what will become of Kano Pillars now?
Okay.
Because we have had them do several things in Akiki. They have done it in different locations, even away from home, not just their home ground.
Yeah.
So I think we need to take stricter measures at this point in time and go for something really harsher. Because at this point, if you think that 37 million naira is a charge play, I don't know what will become of our league at this point in time. But then we cannot keep allowing some set of people to draw us back again and again. So we need to actually nip it in the bud at this point in time and say, guys, we are trying to build a league that is sane. And part of those steps will involve you guys. Since you are not ready, I think you guys should stay away from what we are trying to build right here.
Okay. Victor, you already mentioned the fact that, some sharp weapons were actually brought into the stadium by some people. So in that regard, do you think NPFL clubs and stadium authorities truly follow the security protocol set by the league? Or, are these measures, should I say, often flouted?
Well, the thing is, now, to the best of my knowledge, certain club sites, certain stadium, we have decency in there, we have them actually working things the right way. And yes, they keep trying to adjust and become better. But then there are some places where we think that they should be doing better, but they are not yet there. Maybe because of the culture, maybe because of the history of those places, maybe because of their thinking. But then at this point in time, what we are calling for is for everybody to sit at the round table and address this issue and point out that since you guys do not look ready to align with what we are doing, we should be letting you out of the system. And I think it's not just about the weapons that were brought. There are several other measures that should be put in place right there that will show compliance before we can say, let's accept those people back, or they can continue doing this and that. First off, you look at the barricades. How are they able to easily navigate their ways through those barricades from different angles and getting in there? I remember a couple of several months back, was it last year or the year before, Shooting Stars were going to play against Remo Stars. And because of the precedents right there, the then Shooting Stars chairman, I was with him that day, and I saw that he was making moves to ensure that welders came into the stadium to repair whatever broken part was on the barricades. And you would see it right there. No matter what was happening, they actually ensured that everybody stayed in the right place. So what happened to the escorts that later came out to get Shooting Stars house yesterday? What happened to those who were supposed to be there before that time? What happens in the next derby that will be holding there? Because remember, the next game is Barao against Kano Pillars, and they're using the same ground. So what happens when they have to play that game? That things need to come heavy.
All right, Victor, what would be a stricter punishment for Kano Pillars? Yes, we've seen financial fines. We've seen them say, do not play your home games with fans behind closed doors. What else should the NPFL, use as a stricter measure?
First and foremost, I think they should be banished away from that stadium for a while. Maybe if the fans see that they're not going to enjoy their football for a long while, they would come to terms with behaving and aligning properly. Because if they keep seeing that in a short while they will come back, it might not feel too bad for them. But then I think if we make them see that they are not going to be watching their favorite team in there, their favorite players in there for a very long while, I think he will pass the
But
right
that has
message
been
across.
done. That has been done a couple of times.
Well, the length of time is not enough. I mean, I think they should be taking them far away, and for a longer period of time.
So you don't think
if
a
they start to see that,
total disqualification or banishment of Kano Pillars from the NPFL season is enough? Do you think it's a harsher punishment?
It would be unfair to entirely remove Kano Pillars and disqualify them from the league, but banishment from that particular stadium, say for 1 or 2 years, would make them see that things should be done better. I mean, so that the fans will be out of it now. They would actually have some remorse for what they have done. They will see the healing in what they have done over time, and then look at ways of addressing themselves. They need to set up fan communities. This is one of the things that's worked for Shooting Stars so far. Fan communities right there, the engagement of these fan communities to ensure that there's education and proper orientation across board. So if you're not doing that, I'm sorry, we're not going to get the results. But you look at 3SC, the fans, they have several communities right there. And there are some communities where you see the fans coming together, educating other fans, holding spaces on X, giving themselves better orientation, telling themselves in the WhatsApp platforms that they can do better. Whenever someone wants to bring violence, you can actually talk to that person and eschew, any form of violence right there. But if they're not setting up these things, if they're not speaking to themselves, if they're not having people in the different, little fora addressing these problems, the larger bulk of, these guys will just keep on doing what they want to do. And anything could spark anything. It doesn't even need to be a poor officiating one. It could just be the fact that one person is angry that one dribble happened and it was too, mesmerizing for them to take.
Okay,
and
Victor.
they feel bad about it,
All right, thank you so much. We are fast spent on this conversation. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And we'll be awaiting the NPFL, their decision about what played out on Sunday, the match day 8 between Kano Pillars and Shooting Stars. Thank you so much for joining us. Quickly, let's give you the results from the NPFL matches played on match day 8. Yes, we had one match that was postponed and, of course, being played at the moment. I'm hoping that we get the results from that. But match day 8, we saw the likes of Avia Warriors go up against El Kanemi with 2-0. Kano Pillars and Shooting Stars, yes, did not finish, but 1-1 was the game. Katsina United against Remo Stars. Now, the defending champions, we're wondering what's really happening to them. For the likes of Aimba and Rivers United, they had their unbeaten run, of course. That hope of going unbeaten for a while, being dashed. Kun Khalifa dealt Aimba a big blow by a lone goal. 1-0. It ended over there between Kun Khalifa and Aimba. Those are the results coming from the Nigerian Premier Football League. And
Rivers United losing at home as well to Bayelsa United. Warri Wolves getting an important point against Niger Tornadoes. Very impressive game for them. And then Wiki Tourists as well sharing the spoils with Kwara United. While Ikorodu City got a very vital victory. 3 points against Bendel Insurance.
Yes, against Bendel Insurance. Let's see what the top 6 and bottom 6 looks like in the Nigeria Premier Football League. It's looking like a miracle keeps happening the early season of the Nigeria Premier Football League. From 1 to 6, we are seeing Nasarawa, Abia Warriors, Aimba, Rivers United, Shooting Stars, and Katsina taking the top 6 position at the moment. Now you can see that there's a battle among Rivers, Shooting Stars, and Katsina United. Just goal difference differentiating those teams there. And the top team has just amassed 19 points from 8 games played. Let's see the bottom 6, where those who are in the relegation zone at the moment. Yes, we have Kun Khalifa, newly promoted, Bendel Insurance, newly promoted, and Parawi, since they are birds flocking with the same feather.
Yeah, definitely. It's really not easy to be successful in your first season in the Nigeria Premier Football League. I think possibly only Ikorodu City has been the exception, honestly, since the inception of the NPFL.
Yes, I would say.
If I'm being honest with you. But no surprises right there. But Plateau United, under new management, talking about Shola Adegun, you were probably expecting them to do better. But hey, 9 points from 8 games played, not too bad, but definitely they are performing below expectation. But hey, this is the current bottom 6 of the NPFL. It might not remain this way come the end of the season.
Anything can happen.
Of course, anything can happen. It will be switching up as game weeks come by.
Yes, and we'll be keeping tabs on the developments here, the updates from the Nigeria Premier Football League top 6 and bottom 6. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we have more to talk about.